Okay, so once I feel like I've worked up the face with the finishes to a level that matches the finish of the others, and I'm looking here and I see, yeah, those look pretty good together, then I want to do the same with his collar. And with his neckline and his suit. And cutting away at the outside of him to kind of define the edges a little. Find a flattering collar line. And you just don't want to distract from the work you've done. So you're bringing it up to a level of finish so that your weakest aspect of it is still fairly strong. So even though doing short collars is not very interesting, you don't want to neglect them till the very end, to the point where they're the only thing people end up looking at and just confused by. But one way to kind of show your viewer that something isn't as important is to use bolder, broader strokes. So that's why I'm zoomed out doing this instead of zoomed in. And then his tie, let's bring a little bit more of the red back into it. Something a little bit darker. Nice transition there. And sharpen up his haircut while we're at it. Remember, as the painter, you're in total control, so I arranged these heads where I wanted them to be. So I'm making the most of the composition. It's all my call. And that's why you hire a painter instead of a photographer sometimes, to have control of things like composition. All right, so there they are. Last one. I always have the hardest time doing flattering portraits of women, just because the standards for beauty for women basically means that everything is proportioned perfectly and there is no distinguishing feature. And that makes caricature very tricky for women because caricature is all about distinguishing features. So what can I do to get started? Well, I can define the shape of her hair by showing, what shows through. A little ringlet. The shape of her shoulder becomes quite important, right? Leaning forward. smudge out his shoulder there. All right, and now looking at the highlights on her face. Slightly bigger brush for these low opacities, blending. There's a lot in the hair, a lot of complexity in her hair that's not in the others. But now I've got a lot of colors I can steal from. Lots of examples of levels of finish that I can bring it to. And I'm more confident now in my technique. So, also because of the makeup and the smoothness, and because it's a caricature of a woman, that's flattering. I'm not trying to point out flaws or exaggerate them. I'm going to have a lot of smooth transitions in the skin. I have to be more mindful of those. And yet I still don't want just open, flat areas. So I can introduce varied highlights. And a little bit of the color from the rest of my caricatures. A little bit of the yellows and oranges. And make sure I get that kind of hairline nice and soft. Clear as well. I think her eye could still drop a little bit there. This will help. I'm kind of drawing the smile lines just to get them structurally placed. And I'll cut out the neck and the chin. Be mindful of the direction of your brush work too. So if I'm working down the neck, I don't want to be going side to side too much because the neck is so up and down. Especially when you're doing these big general strokes. A lot of smoothing. And then hopefully from that kind of clarity on where the values change, where the edges do need to be. Starting to come together. All right, so those finishes bring a lot of clarity just with that lower opacity brush. Now I can zoom in a little bit and I can work more on kind of the features and the eyes and the mouth. The smaller brush, slightly higher opacity. Okay, let's see. So what level of finish do I want? Well, the pupils of her eye on that one are pretty good. It's gray eyes. Huh. What's going on? Oh, I'm at opacity 1. Yeah, that's not going to work. Slightly higher opacity. So I want to frame in the eye a little bit and define the eye a little bit better on this side. Got a little lost in those highlights. Maybe bring down the pupil a little bit. And I need some of these highlights around. Let's use a pink. Get underneath the eye there. This is what I meant by bringing down the eye. I need a little bit more white underneath the iris. Then it needs to hook around a little bit more up here. So we use makeup in our culture to define features. And that just means you want them to be defined in the caricature as well. Which means a little extra work, a little extra detail. Soften those eyelashes. Just breaking them up a little. But not letting them get too weak. Okay. Now the nose, the nostrils. Again, I'm following my template, so I know where everything goes. Now I just have to do the subtleties that tie everything together. And the right shapes, the right values that won't distract and yet will capture the likeness. And a lot of it's pushing and pulling with these values. No, that doesn't work. Softening the eyebrows. Come on. Remember, it's not about detail, it's about placement and about value and about illusion. Feels like this eyebrow can dip a little bit lower. This one can be softened a little bit. All right, so looking at it from a distance,